Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. And HMSA, helping Hawaii's youth and their families stay healthy today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. HMSA, trusted for generations.
Next on HIKI NŌ, stories from across the island chain.
My family's trying to teach me one culture, and then I'm living in another culture, so what culture do I live in?
A young woman must choose between her Micronesian culture and dreams of modern-day success. Plus horseback riding therapy for children with special needs.
Also, a Big Island lifeguard dedicates himself to training future lifesavers.
And the effects of overfishing.
We'll also learn about the historical significance of the Waipahu Smokestack and find out why the Opihi population is dwindling.
All on this episode of HIKI NŌ, coming to you from Seabury Hall Middle School on Maui, home of the Spartans.
That's next on the nation's first statewide student news network, HIKI NŌ.
Can do!
This year, Seabury Hall is celebrating its 50th anniversary as a school. The Episcopal Church established Seabury Hall on the estate of Mrs. Catherine McGrew Cooper, who willed her home for the purposes of creating a private high school on Maui. Upon her death in 1963, Seabury Hall was born. Today, our campus covers 78 acres and has a student body of nearly 450 students, 6th through 12th grade. Aunt Kate's home, Cooper House, is the centerpiece in our administrative offices.
Our first story takes place right here on the Valley Isle, as students from Lahainaluna High School introduce us to a young woman who must choose between the traditional life of her people and 21st century success.
Being half Micronesian and half Filipino and coming here, living here, it's hard for me.
Kimberly Yap is a senior at Lahainaluna High School. At the age of 5, Kim moved with her parents and a few close family members from Kiribati, a small Micronesian island, to Maui.
My family moved here looking for a better life, looking for better education for myself. Right now, our island, Kiribati, is sinking from global warming, and there's nothing they can do. There's nothing anybody can do. It's a poor community, you know? It hasn't evolved yet into what this world has come to. Me and my family are deciding whether I should go back to my island after graduation or save the money for college. We're just kind of in a stump right now because we don't know what we're gonna do. My family's trying to teach me one culture, and then I'm living in another culture, so what culture do I live in, you know? My family's very strict. Girls aren't allowed to cut their hair. They're not allowed to dye their hair. You're supposed to live conservative. Being a girl, in our tradition, you can't be out late, and you just have so much rules, you know. You have to be the one to take care of the siblings and cook all the meals. Girls were meant to be, you know, the housewives instead of the smart business maker. The main focus or the main cultural thing about Kiribati is just to respect your elders and to respect the ones around you, and I think that's really stuck onto me, and it's been like my life. It is who I am, and I'm proud of who I am. Not going back home is like losing a big part of my life, but this is home now. I don't want to be a housewife, and I think that's why the best choice for me is to go to college. I need to grow up, and I think going to college, getting a good job, maybe going back home, showing my family that I'm successful in life could really like help us out.
This is Sophia Freddy from Lahainaluna High School for HIKI NŌ.
And we're back on the Seabury Hall campus in upcountry Maui. Behind me is the HIKI NŌ Creative Arts Center. This building, which won awards for its architecture, opened in September 2012. It serves as an assembly hall and performing arts studio. The name of the building, HIKI NŌ, honors the anonymous donor who gave much of the funds to build it. Since its opening, it has been used for numerous dances and theater productions, student art shows, and many community gatherings. The Seabury Hall dancers, actors, and teachers are thrilled to have this new space. Our next story takes us to Hawaii Island, where students from Hawaii Preparatory Academy tell the story of a lifeguard who is dedicating himself to future guardians of the ocean.
My job title, I'm an ocean safety officer for the County of Hawaii, Hawaii Fire Department. In lifeguarding for 23 years. Started in 1990 to present, and I've been here at Apuna Beach since 1996.
Black Abraham is now dedicating himself to running the junior lifeguard program on the island of Hawaii, but he traveled a long, hard road before getting to a place where he could give back to the community.
I grew up here on the Big Island on the east side in Hilo, in a homestead land, Kilkaha. Growing up in Kilkaha was something that was really amazing. There was everything that we always needed was the ocean, surfing, swimming, diving, fishing. I was confronted by the director about being a lifeguard because he always saw me down at the beach surfing, and he told me, hey, why don't you come and be on lifeguard? You're down here at the beach all the time. At least you can get paid, being a lifeguard, helping people out of the water and stuff.
But before Black could excel at saving others, he first had to save himself.
I started using drugs when I was the age of 12, marijuana first, and as I got into my high school years, I went to cocaine and dealt with all those problems and situations at the age of 30, and age of 36, I just cold turkey and just stopped everything because I felt that my responsibility as a parent and as a ocean safety officer wasn't tying in. To this day, I've been clean since I was age 36 and I'm 50 now, so that was a big change in my life, but that's all for the better. We started a junior lifeguard program in 1996. 2013, it will be 18 years I've been doing the program. And I feel that it's a successful program with a lot of kids coming in and going out and making something of themselves and their lives. What we teach is first aid, CPR, and ocean safety skills. I teach a lot of running, swimming. It's a daily thing, but also what I try to teach is teamwork, leadership skills. We do games that consist of teamwork where everybody is part of it. And educating them as far as ocean safety and awareness and first aid, CPR, they have a broad basic fundamentals and foundation on how to provide help when help is needed. As far as the growing of the program, we started off with like 12 kids, and every year it started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we had to make it to where we can accommodate more kids. Life is filled with accomplishments, but you're not going to accomplish nothing if you're always going to give up and you're always going to quit. Then in life, you're always going to try and take the easy way out. So that's what I try to emphasize with the kids about always finishing what you start. Don't be a quitter, because in life, you're going to end up that way, and you don't want to be that way.
This is Michael Spedich from Hawaii Preparatory Academy for HIKI NŌ.
If you'd like to comment on this story or anything you've seen on HIKI NŌ, join the discussion at facebook.com/HIKI NŌ can do, or send us a tweet at twitter.com/HIKI NŌ can do.
We're back on the campus of Seabury Hall in upcountry Maui on the Seabury soccer field, where much of our Senior Leadership Day takes place. This event is one of the long-standing traditions at Seabury Hall. The seniors plan and organize a day of field games and fun for the whole school. The entire student body is divided into competing teams, and games range from capture the flag and relays to tug-of-war, ending in a gigantic shaving cream war. This tradition began when the school opened in the 60s and has only gained in creativity and size over the years. This year's theme was the Olympics, and each team represented a different country competing for victory. It is a great way to forget about the anxiety and stress of school starting, and when we are seniors, we get to lead this exciting day too.
Many Seabury students have taken the initiative to start their own clubs and programs. You may have watched the adult version of TED Talks, but Seabury Hall Junior Jasmine Dewan has a different idea. She is organizing the first TEDx youth event on Maui. Jasmine told us why she decided to start this program.
The TEDx motto is ideas worth spreading. The goal of TEDx Youth at Seabury Hall is to bring together inspiring middle school and high school students from all over Maui to share their inspiring ideas.
Our next story takes us to West Oahu, where students from Waipahu High School report on the disastrous effects of overfishing our oceans.
The environment is all about balance. And when you lose balance, normally what happens is something along that food pyramid crashes.
Oh, yeah, I have something. I don't know what it is though. Cheap one though. Come here.
Emil Muraoka lives for the catch.
I fish for passion. I fish for excitement. I fish for my own joy. Woo! Live and die for that.
Today, he's been lucky, but very soon,
Has that thing even seen a nibble yet?
his luck will change. According to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, who estimate that more than 3/4 of the world's fish stocks are overexploited.
If I couldn't fish anymore, I don't know what I would do. I think I'd be kind of lost.
This is an all too real possibility. If the overfishing continues, the world's fish stocks will be depleted by the year 2048, according to a journal in Science magazine.
Well, I guess it's just break time then.
But for people like Eileen Bebo and her family, taking a break isn't something they can afford.
It started out recreational, and you kind of get hooked on it, so we do it quite often now commercially. We ended up with 15 octopus, ranging from 8 to 10 pounds. It all depends on the tides and the currents.
It wasn't always like this, though.
We could go really close to shore and catch ahi, and catch 6, 7 a day within a couple hours, and you can't do that anymore. It's already showed a decline from 30 years ago.
And in the next 30 years,
We have to be very, very cautious on a worldwide scale not to over-harvest. As the demand for fish protein goes up, the demand for fish goes up.
the ocean has had to keep up with this ever-increasing demand for years. Since 1973, global consumption of fish has doubled, going from 45 million metric tons to over 90 million metric tons consumed during recent years.
And so what you want to do is you want to manage the amount of fish that get taken out in a relative ratio so that that balance continues to exist.
But the balance begins to sink when there's little being done to keep the fish population afloat.
People just take what they don't need. They take more than what's given.
Will there be a lot of fish around? I don't know. Hopefully we won't have to experience that, but we don't know. That is a fear of the unknown.
A fear not only for themselves, but for future generations as well.
We want to have fish for our children and our children's children.
And the younger fishers are starting to catch on.
There's no sense in taking things of which I don't need. There's always a lot for other people, so I like to share.
Emil is doing his part, one fish at a time.
First fish is always a throwback fish, so at least we know there's something out there.
This is Crystal Sabeto reporting from Waipahu High School for HIKI NŌ.
We're back on the campus of Seabury Hall, where every fall semester the Seabury campus transforms for our festive annual Shakespeare Festival. Teams from the sophomore English class perform acts from Shakespeare plays. They then teach students on the meaning and historical content of the plays by engaging them in interactive games.
Our next story takes place in a historic town on Oahu, where students from Waipahu Intermediate School tell us why a smokestack is so important to the place they call home.
Drive through Waipahu, you can't miss seeing it. A 170-foot structure in the center of town. The Waipahu Smokestack has been standing for more than 100 years. It is a symbol of an old way of life.
This area is really special because the stack represents all of what the sugar cane industry did for Hawaii. Where we're standing right now, it was like the central hub of the plantation workers, the plantation industry. So sugarcane was a big part of this building.
Waipahu was one of many towns created for sugar plantation workers. It is also a site of several firsts in the state.
Some of the first schools was built in this area. The first bank was in this area. In fact, one of our buildings is an old bank because they didn't have banks back in the early days.
The Oahu Sugar Company closed down in 1995. Soon after, there were plans on taking down the smokestack, but the community rallied behind keeping the historic structure.
For anybody who was born and raised here in the early 40s, 50s, for us it's plantation.
Annette Yamaguchi, a past executive director at YMCA, and a few others helped save the stack.
She, along with a bunch of old-timers, Andy Anderson, Darlin Bunda, they all got together and wanted to actually somehow keep the smokestack from being torn down.
They won, and the smokestack remains one of the few visible symbols of the industry that gave Waipahu its start. It's also one of the last things from the plantation days still standing in Hawaii. I'm Venus Pajimola from Waipahu Intermediate reporting for HIKI NŌ.
We're back at the campus of Seabury Hall in upcountry Maui, at the Seabury Cafeteria, where head chef Gus Neckelman and his kitchen staff work hard to feed around 500 students and faculty each day. Our menu ranges from mahi-mahi to enchiladas, from crab cakes to broccoli beef, and from country fried steak to spaghetti with scrumptious sides to go with each meal. And if none of those appetizing hot lunches interest you, there's always a sandwich and salad bar from which to choose. All lunches have the freshest and yummiest ingredients to help provide a nutritious break at the middle of our day. Students eat at the dining hall of Cooper House, where we get to relax, visit, and sample mouth-watering grinds.
Our next story takes us to Kauai, where students from Kekula Ni'ihau o Kekaha Public Charter School study the effects of population growth on a traditional Hawaiian delicacy.
Ka opihi ono ka ho'i. Ono loa paha? I te ia kauvela ua i te tahi o na haumana o Kekula Ni'ihau o Kekaha i te tahi o na ka iulu opihi ma ta ao tomohana o Tawai. Ua tomo pū aku i ta oiahana helu o pihi me ta kotua o te ia kumua o Kalai mea ola. Mai ke kula nui o A&M University ma Texas.
My present work right now is focused on a Hawaiian shellfish called the opihi, and its numbers have crashed in the past 100 years. About 100 years ago, there were approximately 150,000 pounds of opihi harvested per year and sold in markets on Oahu. And presently that's dropped down to about 10,000 to 13,000 pounds per year. What we wanted to do was to start counting the opihi actually on the rocks. And the goal here is to show the relationship between the human population and the opihi population. And we're trying to find where the balance is in sustainability. So we're very interested in that relationship between accessibility, the number of humans, and then how does that translate into the number of opihi that are there, so we can find what the optimal balance is between humans and opihi for a sustainable fishery.
I work with Dr. Bird, the opihi expert, and I study opihi and their population genetics.
Ma te ia hana ana me Kauka Bird. Ua makautou ae la na haumana e iho aku I kauma ka iole. Oia hoi o sopa no te helu o pihi ana.
Hea hana opi mea hoi ti ta nui neu neu. E pidi ana I ta lawe nui ia to opi. Ma ni hau nui to opi ai rike me taua I nei me ka tei mau aina ia. Ma PMRF ke tahi nui to opi. Ale nui po e here tui opi. No le tia mau haawina nei. Tomu ia nei loko ta heduna opi. No ta upuni o Hawaii. I te alaku te hoa harikiriki. Ta otoa mai a Saupan me Ni'ihau me nawahi ea. Tawahi nui to opi. Mai te hana nei. No nā kamari, I te alaku te ite kanui o ta opihi e lawe I ane. Ao hoi ta kamari o tia hanau nei hiti mei ana. Ao I alaku mālama ani ta opihi. Ale lawe nui. Malama no ke te hanau nau. Oia te mea nui te mo hawina Dr. Bird e hanani.
Mai ke kulani hau o ke kaha mai o vau no te ia o ka iinini au no hiki no PBS Hawaii.
If you'd like to comment on this story or anything you've seen on HIKI NŌ, join the discussion at facebook.com/HIKI NŌ can do, or send us a tweet at twitter.com/HIKI NŌ can do.
We're back on the Seabury campus, where every spring students, staff, and Seabury families unite to produce one of the largest fundraisers and certainly one of the biggest events on Maui. Families from all over the island visit Seabury to shop for products made by local crafters, play carnival games, and eat delicious food. All of the money that is made during the craft fair goes to financial aid for students. The fun day takes place all over our campus. There are games in the middle school, shopping in the upper school, and a huge rummage sale in our gym. There are activities for all ages, and it's another great way for people to enjoy our beautiful campus. Our final story was created right here in upcountry Maui, where students from King Kekaulike High School show us the healing powers of equine creatures.
The Haku Baldwin Center's Therapeutic Riding Program is a program designed for children with special needs, and it's a program that we serve children from the ages 2 to 17.
Good. You can do it. There we go. Grab your reins.
Harriet Haku Baldwin is the founder of the Therapeutic Riding Program here at the Haku Baldwin Center, and her dream was to have children and animals come together to serve the needs of the children through therapeutic horsemanship.
Bridge. And we're going to go into the pool. So each week the child riders come to our center. They usually come with a parent or grandparent, a caregiver, or teacher's aide, and we meet each rider for a 20-minute session. We get their helmets on, we take them up to the mounting block, we introduce them to the horse. Some of the more advanced riders will be calling the horse in, saying, "Hi Apache, how are you today? Hi Mochi." And so we bring the horse in, we have a volunteer on either side, we have one person holding the horse and the instructor helps the child mount. And then we move into either our outdoor space or our indoor arena where we have an obstacle course that the riders can do, and we kind of try to change that up each month. And we take the kids through a variety of games and activities depending on their skill level and their abilities and their challenges. And the 20 minutes for most kids is just about enough, and some really don't want to get off. They want to take the horse home with them.
My fondest memories are when the children show up and before they're even out of the car, they're already laughing and screaming and just so excited that they're here and they're going to get on a horse. So that's not really a specific memory, but we have one child who one of our other volunteers knows from school, regular school, not the program. And when she volunteered here and saw the child just smiling the whole time, she says, "Wow, that's the first time I ever saw that little person smiling."
You're going to use your reins to show them which way to go. I know you're good at this, so it's going to be fun, okay? Good, walk on, we're ready. So for the future of Haku Baldwin Center, we hope to continue to provide quality services for the people that we serve and to reach out to more people in the community. And we want to keep Haku's dream alive.
This is Lorraine Holokai from King Kekaulike High School reporting for HIKI NŌ.
We're back at Seabury Hall, where our students and teachers use technology in exciting and innovative ways. Seabury has invested in classroom laptops for students and presentation tools for teachers. We asked our middle school science teacher, Miss Brown, why she uses technology in the classroom.
Having technology in the classroom has really put the learning back onto the students. Each child has their own laptop in this classroom, so they're able to research the questions and work at their own pace so that they can get the answers to the questions as they're going along. Rather than getting all the information from me, they're learning how to use technology as a tool to learn for themselves.
Well, we've come to the end of this episode of HIKI NŌ.
All the stories were written, shot, and edited by students
like us.
We really hope you enjoyed visiting Seabury Hall and watching news produced by Hawaii's students.
Make sure to tune in next time to see how
students throughout the state HIKI NŌ
can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you, mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. And HMSA, helping Hawaii's youth and their families stay healthy today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. HMSA, trusted for generations.